Hello, everyone. I'm going to mix up my intro today. Welcome to Ask Mott by Justin Mott. This is my YouTube channel and my website, askmott.com. Everything I do is dedicated to helping people learn about photography, giving you my advice, my rare or my at least my unique insight as a working professional photographer for over 20 years. I've shot over 100 assignments for the New York Times, and then I've shot commercially and editorial for some of the biggest companies and publications in the world. Try to share some of my experience with you guys. And then when I'm doing a gear review, I'm talking about what I actually use. No one's telling me, no one's in my ear about, hey, you have to say this, you have to say this. If I don't like a piece of gear, I'm going to say it. If I like it, I'm going to say it. Anyway, today I am talking about gear. I am doing a fun little experiment. I'm going to design sort of my dream camera. Someone asked me this in one of my live streams. I thought it would be a fun little experiment. Design my dream camera borrowing traits from all the big camera brands out there. Full disclosure, I have no experience working with a Nikon camera in about 20 years, so if you think they slot in of somewhere where I gave the winner to another camera company for that category, you can let me know in the comment section. So I'm going to pull these traits from all the major camera companies: Sony, Leica, Hasselblad, Fuji, Canon. I'm going to talk about design, going to talk about functionality, going to talk about sensors, lenses, versatility, value, all those little things. But before we get into things, I just want to thank today's sponsor for this episode, and they really help support my channel, help me make episodes like this. So check out Wotancraft bags. They make the best camera bags that I've ever used in my entire life. And what's great about them is whatever camera brand you like, they fit nicely and they work nicely with their bags. You can check out the affiliate link in the description box below. Okay, so let's dive in and break these down into categories, starting with my favorite. One of the most important things to me as a photographer, because I really think a lot of sensors are kind of the same. I'm going to start with design. And for this category, hands down, I'd go with Leica. If you followed me, that's probably no surprise. I'm a Leica user, a Leica lover, and I'll say specifically the Leica M series. I love the size, I love the weight, I love the materials, I love the ergonomics, I like the tactile feel, the heft, the balance. Everything's kind of perfect. Leica's design philosophy is timeless and I feel unmatched. And the only other camera I've enjoyed using almost as much as the Leica is the Hasselblad X1D. Next, we'll talk about focus, because if you miss the focus, you miss the shot. And I'll also clarify that I'm not a sports photographer or wildlife photographer. I'm not like doing AI tracking and multi-faces and things like that, but I need focus to work. So when it comes to autofocus, in my experience, Sony takes the crown. Their face tracking technology is incredibly precise, and it's a game changer for the type of work I do. If you do video work as well, the technology is essential. We use Sony for all of our commercial work, video and stills, and it just never lets me down. And as my eyesight gets worse as I get older and I have to start wearing glasses, these aren't even glasses I'm gonna wear. These are just on standby. I am getting glasses for reading, and the next step is, I don't know. Autofocus, I'll give it to Sony just because I just have never used anything better. Moving on to durability. This one is kind of a toss-up for me with Canon and Sony, both deserving big props. I used Canon gear for over a decade. I put my Canon gear through brutal conditions as a photojournalist working here in Southeast Asia. All my New York Times assignments, we're talking dirt, grime, concrete, water, crazy torrential downpours. My Canons never failed me. By contrast, I've had occasional issues with my Leica equipment, my M10D, a Leica M10, even a few lenses that I bought, like pre-loved. One of my Leica M10s refused to shoot because of a memory card formatting issue. That's just something that shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be anything in the system or any way you have to format a card where it just can't shoot. As a professional photographer, that sucked. I sort of reverse engineered and figured out how to fix it. But it just shouldn't happen. That kind of stuff never happened with my Canons, never happened with my Sonys, and it just can't happen for me as a professional photographer. And also, add to that durability, it takes a long time to get your stuff fixed with Leica. Plus, it's easier to replace anywhere in the world, and that's important for a professional photographer. As for Sony, I haven't abused my Sony gear as much because I switched to Sony when I started doing commercial work, which means more luxury hotels, but that still means sand and water. I've also done a lot of factory shoots and that dust and grime as well. And the Sonys have held up really well. Never had any issues in really hot climate working with them. Before we get on to the next category, just a quick reminder that my Northern Vietnam photography workshop is open for registration. Join me for an unforgettable journey through this stunning region of Northern Vietnam, where I'll share my insights and techniques from 20 years of experience photographing this country for just about every major publication you can imagine. And this workshop is open to all levels of photographers interested in all types of photography. Our core of the workshop is focusing on storytelling, which will help you in any type of photography you're interested in. You can check all that at askmott.com. Click on workshops, sign up now. That's March 2025. Moving on to hybrid or video capabilities, I'll also say that Sony wins here. The autofocus is key for video, especially their overall feature set, their codec options. You can just do so much with their cameras and they're so versatile. And like I said, they're just packed with professional video features and professional photography features. One brand to consider for Leica users, not as good as Sony, but if you're invested in the Leica system and you have some Leica L lenses, you could consider the Panasonic lineup, and then you can use the L mount option there for the Leica lenses on the Panasonic. Let's talk next about the inside of the camera, the user interface. Also important to someone like me. I'll give the worst to Sony. I've been giving Sony a lot of credit, so you guys are going to think, what, is he sponsored by Sony? No, I'm not. So I will let you know right here. No, I'll give them the worst. They've gotten better, but man, that Sony menu system, everyone knows about it. It's infamous, but it's terrible. And so the best you're going to say, oh, well, he's a Leica person. He works with Leica. He does workshops with Leica. He's going to say Leica. No, close second, but I will give the edge for user interface to Hasselblad. I use that Hasselblad X1D for a couple years for my commercial work, and those elegant icons, the ease of use, that was amazing to me. It was just perfect to use. I loved just tapping on the little icons. It wasn't complicated, didn't have as many features, and I'll make a little side note there. That first one was like embarrassingly buggy. I'd be in commercial shoots and the client would be talking to me and it would just stop and I'd be like, oh, just give me a minute, I'm checking out the megapixels, and I would be like, take the battery out, put it back in, and just hope it worked. It's gotten a lot better since, from what I've heard. The Hasselblad icon system, fantastic. A close second would be Leica. I do love their navigation system, much better than all the other major brands, but it's not quite as good as Hasselblad. Moving on to the app experience, something that people care about now, something I'm starting to care about now as we post instantly, as we need to get stuff uploaded instantly, and also group fun features in there. I'll say Fuji leads the way with their built-in film emulations. They're fun to use and they have the most options there and the most customization, but Leica is also catching up in this category. And I'll say as far as the app goes, I do have a Fuji X100VI and the app is okay, but the Leica app is superb. It's so much better. They're doing a great job. Whoever's in charge, actually I've met the person in charge on a visit to Leica, doing a great job with that app. And they are making headway and they are catching up with their film emulations, but they're still playing catch up to Fuji there. Best for, we'll call this professional versatility. Again, think about how I'm shooting commercial work, personal work, editorial work, etc. So for me, Sony has the edge there just because their systems are widely available. If I'm working in Japan, Vietnam, Indonesia, I can always get Sony equipment easily if something goes wrong. If I need to expand on a shoot and rent a higher end camera but still use my lenses, I can always find Sony. You can also find Canon most of the time everywhere, but Sony is becoming the leader in that. You can rent it everywhere. It's available everywhere. It's just the versatility because they have great hybrid options. They have a great camera for sort of every category. The most fun or my favorite to use, Leica, the winner here, just because it has so many different lens choices, so much crossover, the design. It's just a pure joy to use that camera. Again, I'm talking about the M specifically. I like the SL feel, but the M specifically. I just love the weight. I love the design. And I just like using it. I like having it in my hand. I like taking it out. That's why I use the Leica M10 for all of my personal work, my passion projects. But I'll say that little Fuji X100VI, that's a fun camera to use as well. So I'll give them a second, maybe a semi-close second, but second. I do like that camera. You want to save several $1,000s and still have fun? Get yourself a Fuji. Best glass, I'll give this to Leica just because I love all the Leica classic lenses, the R, the M, and even the SL lenses if I need something modern. And you get what you pay for, and you pay big for that. And but specifically, I love the Leica M lenses, and I'm also starting to love the Leica R lenses. And their value is quite good value there, or at least there used to be. I think a lot of cinematographers are buying them up, so the value is going through the roof. But if you ever get a chance to go check out like the Leica Classic store, go check it out, or just look at their archive of lenses throughout history. They have great character. As far as image quality, something important to a lot of people, but I'm not like a pixel peeper. I'm not diving in. I don't care about having a ton of megapixels, but the best files on a camera that I've ever personally used, never used the phase ones, a lot of cameras I haven't used, but were from the Hasselblad X1D. The files on that camera were just absolutely delicious. My retoucher loved them. I love them. Not just the detail, but the color science with the Hasselblad. I think it's a Fuji sensor, so maybe I should thank Fuji, but it's the Hasselblad color science. As far as the best camera culture, maybe that doesn't matter to some people. I'm sure it doesn't to a lot of you out there. As far as their community goes, as far as their dedication to photography and to photographers, I'd say Leica wins this. And again, I have a personal relationship with them, so maybe I'm biased, but I also had a personal relationship with Canon for 5 years. I hosted a TV show that was sponsored by them. There was some nice people there, and I had a nice experience, but they never supported my personal projects, never supported my personal work, never highlighted it. Leica, who I've never done a TV show with, they have exhibited my work, they've put it in an ad campaign, they've helped me call attention to important work, such as like my work on the last 2 Northern White Rhinos, and then even just take me out of the equation. I've been to their yearly events, I've been to their celebration of photography, I've been to their headquarters. They have the Oscar Barnack Award every year. They support meaningful photography. That's what I'll say. They care about it. And supporting local photographers, hosting galleries and exhibitions in their stores. Their culture's great. I'd say it's better than any other camera culture I've ever seen. And not just for professionals like me, for everyone out there. Best value, not Leica. I'll say that. Let's give Canon an award here. Let's give it to Canon. Their price, I've always found good value on my Canon cameras as far as their durability, professional features. I never felt like I was breaking the bank with them. Sony's probably right there with them, but I felt like Canon deserved an award here today, so I'll give it to them. And just a quick mention to some of the most underrated brands, I'll give that to Ricoh. They deserve a mention here. If there was a category for pocketability, I would say Ricoh deserves it. That little Ricoh GR series, it's a gem. It's a gem of a camera. I wish they had more resources to bring more updates and expand the lineup, but it's a fun little camera with a very niche following, but it's a nice price point and nice quality for what you get. I'll also say Lumix is sneaky good. It's a nice little niche there too, especially for Leica pros who want a backup camera that can do a little bit more video capabilities and also doesn't break the bank. So that's it. I'm sure I missed categories. If I didn't talk about things, it's something I don't care about that much. But yeah, that's it. That's my little dream build. If I'm extrapolating all these different traits from different camera brands, that's it. Sorry to Nikon. No knock there on Nikon, just haven't used them in many, many years. When I did use them, I never had any issues, so you can slot them in where you think is apropos. I don't know. That's my little dream camera build. Let me know what your dream camera build looks like. Let me know if you disagree with me, but be nice about it. I delete any comments that are nasty. I engage with comments that are fair. So that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to check out my online store at askmott.com. I've got a whole fully updated website, new articles about different cameras, more samples. So if you come here and you like some of my episodes and you thought, oh, I'd like to see more pictures, those are on there in blog form and some nice galleries. I've also got my Northern Vietnam Photography Workshop. Don't miss that. That is March 2025. 6 slots only, the workshop of a lifetime. This is a unique experience that no one else can offer you. Only I can. But it's true. Take in my experience, look at my website. You can see my experience. Go to justinmott.com if you're interested in seeing my work and be like, who is this guy? Can I trust him? Do I like his work? Check it out. I've also got online coaching on there, presets, and a whole bunch of other things at askmott.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to have a wonderful day.